What is something that gets more sad as you age? Music. Certain songs and artists are forever linked to moments in my life, moments that are so alien to my life as it is today. It fills me with nostalgia a lot, and sometimes makes me sad that I can't go back to those moments. Not only am I getting older, but I'm watching my parents get older. My dad suddenly walked like an old man and not the strong daddy he was when I was kid. Seeing them age is quite difficult. I don't want them to be the old person in the news who got scammed by some shitface. Birthdays. No doubt. USA perspective. From elementary school to middle school they're fun and you get presents. 16 to 20 you have an excuse for a party. 21 peaks with going to the bars. But after that, all downhill. Less meaning to the years, fewer friends show up, people forget, and at a certain point you don't get a card or text from mom and dad. It goes from being fun and exciting to a reminder that you're getting older, and that you're going to die. Reflexes in video games combined with how insane people are at them now. It's so depressing to slowly see me losing my edge as I venture into my 30s. I used to be a god at shooting twitchy games. Played CS from middle school all through high school. Was an Unreal Championship pub stomping nightmare. TF2 was my late teens through 20s. Being that guy in the friend group who was just ridiculous felt really good. Doubling and tripling everyone's kills. Being able to join any group on the planet and just get bro stop using an aimbot and stuff. I loved it. The feeling of being in the zone and just being able to hit anything at all. Twitchy little scouts bouncing around. Quake's overall crazy speed. Over time though I really do see a decline in this. My aim is starting to suck and I can't pull off the crazy shit I used to. But it's not just me getting slower. Somewhere around the CS:GO to Overwatch Battle Royale era everything just kinda changed. People have legit training programs and stuff now via Kovac and AimLab and basically everyone grows up playing these games, so the bar just keeps on rising. YouTubers posting tutorial after tutorial on all these crazy tips and tricks. I just don't have time to keep up with it all. I played Apex for a bit, but there's no way I have time for a training regimen and to play hours a day. I get my weekends and that's about it. I'm still fortunate to have those skills and be better than average, but I miss being a god. It's petty as fuck but I'm only human. The amount of posts on Reddit from people asking if life is worth it. I hope they're just being edgy but I'm guessing a lot aren't. I think Reddit is turning me into a mom because I just want to hug them all. As people get older their complete lack of empathy. People either grow their empathy or it shrinks. As I get older, I see less and less people in my age bracket have empathy. It's crazy to me that empathy shrinks. We've been through similar shit or know people who've had worse and yet having empathy is lacking. It's damn depressing. Life. It seemed a lot happier and carefree when I was younger. Most of the decisions I made in elementary school were what sport I would play in the P.T. period that week. Now everybody has gotten a lot more serious, downcast, and bitter in general. I have a lot more expectations to live up to, decisions to make, consequences to face and downfalls to ride. The ratio of times I've laughed to cried are getting lower than I'd like. Losing people and knowing you probably won't ever see them again in life, or visiting a place you might never get to come back to. As we grow old, the crowd around us keeps changing. You lose base with people you used to know. It sucks. I had a few friends when I was young. How I wish I could be with them again just once more and live/enjoy like I used to back then. But I know it won't ever be possible. I know there are places I'll never get to see again, people I'll never be able to speak with again. Reality, when you realize there's no point in anything and we're all gonna die. Politics, school, family, money, and religion are all a farce to distract us from this fact. Everyone is just winging it based on the belief that there is some control in the world when in reality it's all fake. 43-year-old Redditor here, born in 1978. If you've ever heard the saying, life begins at 40, there couldn't be a more truer saying. You begin to see people in their legacy years, meaning, for how they will ultimately be remembered. So many people, living failed lives, so many what could have beens, and what might have beens. People who died years before their time, either from drugs/alcohol use, crime, suicide, accidents, illness, etc. Many of them, going to their graves, with no idea how much they meant to the still living. Never getting closure, either with parents, siblings, friends, SOS, or spouses, instead getting that middle of the night phone call. People choosing to forfeit their lives, and any opportunity for potential happiness, because of how they were raised, treated in school, treated in relationships, etc. Watching people your age fail to adapt to a changing world. Complaining about trans rights and cell phones like you're fucking 75, like dude, have a piece of avocado toast and an IPA and just chill, alright? Seeing professional athletes younger than me making millions of dollars and living a life I could only dream of. It blows my mind that there are 18-year-olds starting in the NBA. A bunch of 21 to 23-year-olds just got drafted to the NFL. Life. Not to be melodramatic, but yet. Everything ends is something you can wrap your head around, philosophically, maybe even embrace. It's different when you've lived through so many endings, though. And the reality of the many endings to come grows ever clearer, sharper, and closer. Many people take everything for granted, from the animals they eat, to having clean water. Example, I live out in the country, so we have well water. My water is orange, smells and tastes of rust, or blood. It is very unsafe to drink, or even brush my teeth with, and I just took a shower at my brother's, the first time in 3 months that I have had a clean, nice shower. I think watching newer generations' opportunities shrink as time passes by. Sure, they can buy an iPad, but good luck affording education, getting a decent paying job and affordable housing. And depending on where you live, good luck if you get sick. Warming up. At 50, I can still skateboard and ride wheelies on my bike and stuff, but if I don't stretch, I'm going to fuck something up. In the morning, I have to get the blood moving around and not just jump out of bed. Again, something is going to get pulled if I just run to the kitchen like a 12-year-old. Grunting happens. I don't know what it is, but every time I change a major body position I have to grunt. Bending over, seated to standing, reach something high. Grunt, grunt, grunt. That my life is nothing like I had imagined when I was young. My life is pretty good but not what I had hoped for. Also, my parents getting old. My dad was always stiff and looked young for his age but now is tired, gray, and chubby. Still the best dad though. I hear people claim that we are just nostalgic, and things weren't better in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Yes, technology, infrastructure, food production etc. wasn't as advanced by today's standards, but what they are forgetting is that in the 70s and 80s we were used to getting rewarded for hard work. Everything needed effort and input. Now everything is more or less expected to be easy, fast and automatic, which makes the modern people more selfish and lazy. Life. Well, just the bullshit that comes with life. Mainly the disappointments, struggles, and bullshit you don't think about when you are a kid. 15-year-old me never ever thought, man, I can't wait until I'm 44 years old with one kidney, diabetes, overweight, and telling myself every day this shit has to change. Good times. The loneliness. I'm 41 now, hella lonely, and at least I have my wife and kids. I look at my wife's grandfather, who passed away last year at 94. His wife had been dead almost 20 years. His children and grandchildren lived anywhere from 1 hour to 7 hours away. The last conversation I had with him, I had asked if he was able to call his friends and chat, as COVID didn't allow him to get out. He said, "No. All my friends died in the past 5 years. Now it's just me. I'm just waiting my turn. There will be wonderful things yet to come, but that doesn't mean it doesn't sting when you think back on that cool thing you did, and realize it was 20 years ago." Also, I struggled to chat to my hairdresser because she is a young lady who understands none of my references. Brilliant at hair though. Seeing the places you grew up in get worse and worse. My dad was recently telling me about how when he lived in Pakistan he would swim in the rivers near him. Now, 50 years later, he wouldn't step foot in those rivers because of how polluted they are, and that makes me really sad. SpongeBob, you realize it's a huge allegory to how little you know when you are thrust into adulthood. How your job just wants to take advantage of you. People want you to fail because then their failures don't look as bad. And it's like, hey kids, can you lighten up a bit? Family gatherings get harder and harder every year. I'm not like my family. I'm the only one to have graduated college and have a white-collar job. I'm going for my master's. But I can't talk to my family anymore because our lives are so different. War movies? I don't know, when I was a kid I used to love watching war movies, but now as an adult, having served in the military, war movies now touch differently and I don't like them, especially now it seems Hollywood cranks out a Navy SEAL movie every year for profit. I grew up in the church and remember churches being warm and friendly places in the 90s. Each year, the attendance steadily drops and the pastors become more arrogant. I am seeing the end of a way of life. Each cycle through the church year is becoming less and less meaningful. I am specifically involved with pipe organs and seeing them pushed to the side in more and more churches hurts. Eventually, I know I will quit going and it makes me sad. When I was a kid, my dad was a single parent. My sister is 7 years older than me, so she helped my dad with what she could. She and I were very close. She met a guy. She went behind my dad's back to our mother and got permission to get married at 16. Just left me. She became a drug addict thanks in part to our mother. There was a time that I still wanted her to be a part of my life. She is now 53 and lives 80 miles from me. I see her maybe once every 2 years. As time went by, I realized that I really don't care if I see her again. I'm not even 50 years old and I've lost all of my grandparents, both of my parents, a brother, a lifelong best friend, a couple of cousins and numerous aunts and uncles. Pretty much all I've got left as far as my immediate family, not counting my wife and son, is a younger sister and her 4 kids. I'm basically the last one standing. Like I'm pretty sure that the next funeral I'll be directly involved in will be my own. Grief. It gets softer as time goes by, but it's proof that love doesn't stop just because someone is gone. I am the person I am because of those that are gone, and the impact they had on me. So they're not truly gone. I know this might not be super relevant, but the song 7 Years kinda describes it well in one of his last verses. Soon I'll be 60 years old. My daddy got 61, remember life and then your life becomes a better one. He's thinking about how he's at an age now where he'll either outlive his dad or die soon. I guess we have to resign ourselves to never being able to have those exact experiences ever again, but I feel like we can still hope for some part of those experiences, including that very music, to survive and continue to be meaningful in the present moment. I guess I'm trying to say that the music is only sad if you dwell upon what is no longer accessible. Music itself has a way of enriching any moment within a lifetime, regardless of what is and what is no longer in that moment. Yes. First time I got a person with same thing as mine. The songs I hear while a specific time of my life are associated with them. Now if I listen to songs which I played during bad times makes me depressed again. Damn, this reminds me that my mom is super susceptible to scams now. She was always super smart when I was younger. Hell, she's only mid-50s, but it's like some switch went off and she's already almost fallen for a scam a few times. Typical phone call telling her she owes money and needs to provide her SSN and bank account. Luckily my sister has stopped her multiple times giving out that info. I started doing them again. Because I bloody well can. Why shouldn't I celebrate? I beat the universe into giving me another year of life. Invite all my friends and tell them to bring a 6-pack of whatever their favorite is. Cook a pile of food. And you know what? I am an adult so I can afford to go all out. I encourage everyone to bring their families. Cause kids running around my house make me happy. Good beer, good burger, at my table, in my house, with my friends, while I get to hear 8 or so kids playing. Fuck yeah. For us as adults it's mostly become an excuse to go to a restaurant or order a bunch of food and get together with family. The person opens a few cards between dinner and dessert, but the focus is really just on being together. Writing this has me missing the one skip because of COVID, and I'm looking forward to being able to do it again.